Hi, Mrs. Malika here. I have students that ask me often, how do I do 1.04? And basically, you're going to shop for a computer um, by first looking at the specs that you have in your computer, and then shopping for a computer by finding two that you're going to compare, and then making a buying decision. That's the long and the short, but let's go through all of the assignment details. All right, so when you get to 1.04, it tells you you're researching a laptop, you're going to buy peripherals, okay? So the whole purpose is to make sure you know what basically is involved in buying a computer. You have to know what some of the important parts are so that you can make a good buying decision. And to start with, you can skip the current computer too, unless you want to compare, get the specs on two computers. Get the specs on a computer you use. It could be your laptop, your desktop, or a school computer. If you can't get into a school computer, ask a teacher, IT person for help. Somehow, some way, you have to find out what the CPU is, the RAM, the weight, the hard drive, and the screen size of the computer. The CPU would be like a Intel um, i7 processor, and the RAM would be like 8 gigabytes. You have to find that out. You should research these links here in part three because I have students that say, I don't know. Well, look it up, find out what does it mean to buy a laptop? What do you need to know? Go to Best Buy, look at the specs, look at the definitions of the specs. I don't know isn't a reason because you can go and use these resources and Google yourself. You need to become tech savvy so that if you did have to make a buying decision about a computer, you know exactly how to buy one based on knowledge of what the parts are. Some of you that are gamers already have built your computers. You've got this down pat. Some of you are very new. Somebody has provided you with a computer and you don't know what any of it is. So you might need a little extra time to research. You're going to fill this out. You're going to shop, and then you're going to compare and contrast two computers. So you're going to say, okay, the make and model. It's here. You just have to put like HP or Dell, Inspiron. What is it? Where did you get it? What is the central processing unit? What is it? Define it there. What's the RAM? Weight, obviously you don't have to define that. Hard drive size, screen size, and cost. Any other things that you find interesting that you want to compare, go ahead and add them there. Then you're going to compare peripherals like headsets and printers and things like that. You're going to compare and contrast your two finalist computers, and then in the end, you're going to summarize um, what you picked and why. So let's look at a sample, a completed sample. So the first question in your assignment is describe in a paragraph using complete grammatical sentences what you will primarily use your new computer for and what you would look for in a laptop computer. So this would be an example of a response, what the student is using it for and how they're going to use it and any details they already know about that. The second part asks you to find out what you're using for a computer. So here's an example. The student has an Acer Chromebook. This is the processor that's in it, the memory, etc. Now this person has a Chromebook, okay, and is going to go shopping. So she puts her links here, or he, in the section here instead of in the table. Says, okay, I found a MacBook Air. Here's the link. An HP. Here's the link. This is the link to look at the product that the student actually picked out. So make sure you include your URL. Then in the table provided, make and model, we're going to compare these things. The student should have defined CPU and RAM here. If you don't know what these are, you need to know for the DBA, so look it up. If you're using Google Docs and you don't know what an Intel Pentium is, you can highlight it, click on Tools, Research, and Google Search will find you some results. So you can go ahead and look and see what kind of information is out there, and it'll tell you a little bit more about those processors. I highly recommend you learn about processors. It's the most expensive and most important part of your computer. You can't upgrade or change a processor, and everything else depends on working from a really good processor. Battery life, included software. So this student added some included software to compare. Peripherals being a printer, an adapter, and a gaming headset, and then a summary. Okay. Now, there's a template posted in the course, so if you want to make a copy of the template so you don't have to do setting up the doc yourself and copying and pasting from the lesson, go ahead and grab the template. Everything, including the link to this video, can be found here in Module 1, and for each of the modules, if there's any support, it's listed up at the top, so resources for Module 5. So not posted here yet, but you'll see here it'll say resources for 1.04. And that way you'll see the video link of this and also a link to the template. All right, good luck, and now you should have no problem doing this.